Good morning and welcome to yet another edition of The Focus Show, this time around focusing on energy. Joining me in studio is Augeto Greg, the editorial coordinator for the Focus supplement Power Sparks Namibia. I'll also be joined by Joanna Poles, the marketing executive for public relations at NMH. I'm your host, Glenora Shipura, and we'll be right back after this.
Morpho Solar Technology. 5 kilowatts hybrid residential solar energy system. 10 kilowatts hybrid residential solar energy system. 15 kilowatts hybrid residential solar energy system. Choose your package, we take care of the rest. A way to solar you can trust, residential energy solution expert.
I'm now joined in studio by Augeto Greg, the editorial coordinator for the Focus supplement Power Sparks Namibia. Good morning.
Good morning, Glenora.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the Focus Show.
Thank you, thank you.
I do understand that Power Sparks Namibia is the first ever focus.
Energy focus.
Energy focus,
yes.
And it's the first ever, not first ever, but it coincides with the current energy conference taking place. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Did you guys plan to release it
Yes.
with the dates coinciding with the energy conference currently taking place?
Power Sparks Namibia, it is the focus, which is available in all our newspapers. That's Namibian Sun, Algemene Zeitung, and of course Republikane. And also it will be available on all our social media platforms. And it is brought out to coincide with the Namibia International Energy Conference taking place at Drombos, starting off today, tomorrow, and on Thursday it will end. And we brought it out and right at the beginning of the publication. One of the first stories is oil on the horizon, because that will be a topic which will dominate the current energy conference. You know, we've made significant discoveries. Even in many newspapers today, there are reports about the billions of barrels suspected to be at Gulf's recent well discovery.
Yeah, I've read on that. Now, speaking on that, I think that leads us right directly into our next question. What are the local opportunities for Namibians, considering that we are sitting on a massive discovery of oil?
A couple of massive discoveries.
A couple of massive discoveries,
Shell
yes.
has made their discoveries, and so has Total Energies. But for Namibians, the real opportunities are in local content. Our government has already put in place a local content policy, and it's important to look at local content opportunities. These opportunities, they cover a huge variety of areas. There's training, for instance, technical skills, managerial training, dangerous goods licensing, firefighting. All these certifications and skills, they are necessary for the employees who are going to be manning the rigs and building the pipelines, all sorts of things. There's materials that they need, copper in particular, copper alloys are necessary, and there's workers that need to fill these jobs, unskilled workers as well as skilled workers, services, oil field services, logistics, management, accommodation, engineering. There's transfer technology, because the companies that are coming here, they are required to transfer skills and technologies to Namibians, so they will need somebody to facilitate that. There's equipment from heat exchangers, reactor equipment, product coils, pumps, coolers, heaters. The idea is just to spark the imagination of Namibians, but you should also bear in mind that we are talking about servicing huge multinational companies. They pay top dollar, but they demand the best. These are not the kind of government tenders that you can just get and think you're going to under-deliver and come back again for a second bite of the cherry. No, you got to make sure that you bring the top quality on time, in price, every time from the get-go. So rather look at the smaller opportunities first. Maybe just say you're in the food industry, you're supplying to a conference or an opportunity, a little finger food, make sure your product is on point so that you can develop that relationship, so that maybe eventually you can be shipping your meals out to the rig every day, and that'll really make somebody a millionaire in their own right.
Well, it seems like there's a vast opportunities for Namibians in here, and I think I implore people that want to service the sector to take a look where they can fit and how they can service it.
Yes.
Getting into my your next article actually, which you titled "Sea Access for Green Hydrogen." Can we get into this? Yes.
Is another big development in Namibia. We've got huge projects planned. There are currently 9 projects being developed. 3 of them are pilot projects, and one of those pilot projects is the partnership between our own Ultra-List group and the CMB Tech group from Belgium. It's called Clinergy. They are busy setting up a plant just outside of Walvis Bay, but they're also developing a major pipeline, ammonia and green hydrogen pipeline, which will run all the way from Arandis, maybe past Swakopmund, or maybe through the Naukluft Park, down to Walvis Bay and all the way to the harbour. CMB Tech is actually a shipping company, and one of their innovations is powering their ships with hydrogen. So from the plant, that pipeline will take the hydrogen directly to the harbour to power up those ships, to refuel them. But also ammonia is used as, it's more stable than hydrogen, so it's used as the kind of molecule to transport the power. So many ships will be loaded with ammonia and shipped off to markets like in Europe and all over the world. But I'm just talking in that article about the progress being made with that pipeline. I mean, in and of itself, it's a major development.
I totally agree. Can you tell me more about the BW Energy and the Kudu gas?
Kudu gas is a huge opportunity for us. We've had the Kudu gas field, which was identified already maybe 20, 30 years ago, but we've been struggling to develop that huge potential of natural gas. So the government has partnered with BW Energy. It's a global company. In our spread, center page spread, we show you where they are busy all over the world. In Norway,
it looks
Bermuda.
like it's literally all over the world. It's almost in every continent. Of course, you have to take a look at the supplement to see what we're talking about.
And there's also an infographic in that page showing the preparations for further exploration at Kudu gas, because we are looking to make it more bankable, complete the feasibility and actually start work on that soon.
Now back to electricity. There was an interesting article in the supplement that talks about how Oshikoto, the biomass, can power or is powering the agricultural sector. I mean, I like that, the one sector powers the other sector.
Yeah, the Oshikoto biomass project will use bushwood chips, but those chips are coming from encroacher invader bush. So we are going to clear land of that bush, but then we're going to use that wood to power the biomass power plant, which will generate electricity to feed back into the grid. So it's a win-win not only for the farmers, but also for all the Namibians who need access to electricity, because you've got to get that electricity from somewhere,
And I like I said, I really love the supplement. Like, we talk about even harnessing the energy of the sun.
Yes.
As what UNAM is currently doing. It's investing in solar panels.
At their campuses.
At their campuses, yeah.
They are taking advantage of the sun, but UNAM is also one of the higher learning institutions involved in research and development, which is taking place at different places all over the country. And that article is just to show that they're putting their money where their mouth is, They're doing the research and the development, but they're also putting the solar power to work.
I like that. I totally like that. Now, getting to your next article, it sort of surprised me because I didn't know about it. Mm-hmm. But can you tell the viewers more about the TID deadline and why it's important that we update our meters?
Yes, the TID stands for Token Identifier deadline. The deadline is on the 24th of November, and how that will affect everybody, especially everybody with prepaid electricity, is that after 24th of November, if your electricity box, your prepaid electricity box, has not been updated, it will stop working. So you will not be able to buy prepaid electricity anymore. Now, our distributors and NamPower in particular, they've been busy with campaigns to update those boxes. Even City of Windhoek often announces where its technicians will be. Please ensure that they get access to your box, to update your box, because after 24 November, if your box is not updated, you won't be able to buy prepaid electricity anymore.
Wow, still on electricity, can you tell me and the viewers a little bit more about electricity distribution in Namibia?
Distribution is vitally important because we have to get the electricity to our people. And we've already got regional distributors, Irongo Red, Senored and Nored. But the government wants to expand Senored to include the east, and they want to establish Khomas Red, which will basically cover the Khomas area, which is dominated by City of Windhoek. And they want to establish Kauop Red, which will cover the south of the country. That's the Hardap and the Karas regions. That's huge stretches of land, but the population is much less. People are living further apart, so it's been a challenge, but the government is committed, and you can read more about the progress in establishing those reds in the supplement as well.
Now, there's your last article, because we don't want to give everything away. I was quite shocked. I know we talked about this some time back, but you told me that we are planning to harness the power of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes, indeed. There's a pilot project. The impact assessment is already complete. It's being done along or using the wave roller technology, which is Northern European Finnish know-how. The pilot project is between Swakopmund and Walvis Bay. But if we can get that technology working properly for us, it's got huge potential. We've got a massive coastline. Most of our coastline is uninhabited. Think about setting these up offshore all along the Skeleton Coast Park, for instance. And then with the wires, we can transfer that electricity to where it's needed, and then we don't have to put people in that part of our country. It's the Namib Desert is there, and it's a nature reserve. We want to preserve it, but this is another way in which we can then take advantage of that. And of course, more electricity, cheaper electricity, maybe being able to export electricity. All these opportunities are there for us.
I totally agree. And one of the things that I picked up reading the supplement was that I realized that the energy sector is a budding sector in Namibia.
It is.
Filled with so much potential. And you and your team did a great job enlightening me, the reader, in what to expect from the sector.
No, it's a budding sector, but it's also a vitally important sector. We need the electricity. There's an interview that I did with the Director of Energy in the Ministry of Mines and Energy, John Titus, and there's a QR code on the contents page which will take you directly to the whole interview. But I've cut out a little bit of it, and we can watch the video.
Yes, which is amazing. So on the other side of the break, we'll be taking a look at the video. John Titus, the Director of Energy at the Ministry of Mines and Energy, and he talks a little bit about, you can maybe give them a little glimpse.
He mentions that we've got a 50% electrification rate, which means, based on the latest census figures of a 3 million population, that 1.5 million Namibians don't have access to electricity. So this is a big issue for the government and the ministry. But listen to Mr. Titus elaborate on that, and also about what we are doing as a country to generate electricity and distribute it.
All right, on the other side of the break, we'll take a look at that.
Transnational logistics. We are a 100% Namibian woman-owned business. Cell, +2648126010003.
Country. So nationally we have about 50% of our population have access to electricity. So then the flip side of that, meaning that 50% don't have access to electricity. If you consider, and that was the percentage that we have before the census, so we are also awaiting eagerly the census figures to see whether that figure improved or not. We hope, seeing that we are doing electrification on an annual basis, we hope that that figure did not decrease, but hopefully either remain the same or has improved. So we're eagerly waiting, but if we base it on the 50%, on the recent census figures regarding the size of our population, meaning that 1.5 million of our population potentially is without electricity, which is something that as government we are not very comfortable with, and it's something that we are spending most of our time in this building trying to find solutions, or not just solutions. The solutions are there is the issue of fast tracking and implementing our plans at a faster rate. Yes, and I can maybe also just highlight here that we've recently has developed electrification policy, because in all these years we had fragmented plans. So we try to combine all of this in one policy, and that policy is also confirming government's commitment to electrify everybody. But from the figures already indicated, it's not a small task. We've done a study in 2020, and a study was finalized. We started the study in 2020, was finalized 2021, 2022. And the study already indicated that to reach universal access, meaning access to electricity for all, government would need we need to source additional $14 billion. So considering that, and considering our financial situation a year or two ago, it was not realistic, and I think I stated in another interview, to have this done in 2030. Although we want to, but 2030 is 6 years from now. So most probably more towards 2035 if we get all the financing, but not just the financing. We also talk about capacity. And our procurement act for this kind of projects, the focus is to attract local companies or local contractors to do the electrification. And there are not that many contractors that can do electrification or electrification projects within budget and within time. So we also need to build the necessary resources, human resources, as a country to achieve the target, but also we need additional income or source of funding. So in the electrification policy, the policy makes reference to a funding portfolio. Without addressing the funding issue, the policy will most probably just gain dust. So the idea with the funding portfolio is to find alternative ways to raise financing for electrification. And the idea is that perhaps, and it's just the idea is because this policy or the funding portfolio is not yet approved by government, it's only the policy. So we're finalizing some of the modalities of how this fund should look like. But the idea is that perhaps government funds that's available through Treasury on an annual basis can be used to attract other financing. To go to our DFIs and others that are willing to help Namibia to say, from government we got 100 million, are you not willing to give equal or more or whatever the terms may be? So through that we try to attract grant financing, concessional financing, and other financing that is more reasonable for government to, more affordable and more reasonable for government to repay. So that's the idea. But the third document that goes together with how to reach universal access is a national electrification strategy. And we also want to move away from just thinking about routification, but also national electricity. Yes, rural is still high on our agenda, but the study that I've earlier referred to that we've done indicates that 80% of our population now, like I said, the study is now already 2 years or more old. That study indicated that 80% of our population that don't have electricity is within 500 kilometers within to the nearest grid. So meaning we see it as a low-hanging fruit. So if we target that population, it is something that we can in a relatively short time, if we have the finances, electrify.
Ashburton Investments.
Nedbank Private Wealth. Your wealth should be connected in every way. At Nedbank Private Wealth, we believe in connection. Whether it's the relationship you have with your wealth manager or the way you pay it forward in your community, we make sure it is all connected. Call us at +26481959291 or email privatewealth@nedbank.com.na. Nedbank Private Wealth. See money differently.
Now I'm joined by Joanna Paulus, the marketing executive of public sector and not relations, as I previously mentioned, at NMH. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
It's so great to have you here, and I would like to your input, especially on this focus supplement, Power Sparks,
yes.
Namibia. I saw some interesting adverts there. And one that particularly caught my eye was the National Energy Fund and the Solar Revolving Fund
yes.
that are advertised by the Ministry of Energy.
Yes. So basically, they are having those funds with the ministry and they are running. Let's just quickly touch on the National Energy Fund. And the main objectives of this fund is to ensure that we have an affordable and accessible, as well as a security of supply for the energy, and in a nutshell, to maintain or equalize the basic fuel prices, as well as subsidizing Nampower's electricity prices on imported electricity into the country, and as well as funding rural electrification in the country.
So, meaning in the long run, electricity might not be so expensive.
Yes, because they're trying to maintain that for us and keep it at a level price.
I understand that there's some changes to the information.
Yes.
Can you tell the viewers a little bit more
Yes.
about that?
As we know, these rates are ever changing and they are constantly being updated. The table that is stipulated on the ministry's ad has levies that have increased over the time. It was a bit late for us to change them, but please do keep in touch and keep in
keep
away.
it in the loop.
Yes,
Yeah, and I
keep in
think
the loop.
you can also, visit the website of
Yes.
the Ministry of Mines and Energy and find out more about these two funds, which is,
Yes.
the National Energy Fund and the Solar Revolving Fund, and
Yes.
how you can, partake in it. Can you tell me a little bit more about some of the other adverts? I saw that Nampower was also one of the companies that
Yes.
advertised.
Nampower is having, or they facilitate the transmission projects as well as their generation projects. Under the transmission project, they have quite a number of projects that they're working on around the country. Just to name a few, they have the Awas Genus 400K transmission project, as well as the Awas Kokerboom 400K transmission project, and then they have the Obab Oranjemund 400 transmission projects, and these are just the transmission projects, just to name a few. There are quite a lot, and then to add on to that, they have their generation project that they're working on. And my favorite one, or the one that's most interesting, would be the Omburu BES project. This is a project that is in relation to a battery energy storage system, which is currently being implemented. And a fun fact about it is it will be the first in its region and in the country.
Wow, impressive stuff.
Yes.
Impressive stuff indeed.
Yes.
Like I said to Ogeto Craig earlier, you and the team did an amazing job putting this supplement together and also informing, the nation at large.
Yes.
At just what a budding industry the energy sector is.
Yes, it is quite a budding industry, and we look forward to what it has in store for us as citizens and as a nation at large.
Thank you so much, Joanna Paulus, for joining us on this Focus Show.
You're very welcome.
And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. I hope I have left you a little bit more enlightened in all things energy related. From me, Glen Rashipura, until next time.
Make better money choices with Nedbank's Solar Energy Solutions. A smart and sustainable solution for your home with green energy. Save on bills with Nedbank's solar energy financing. Apply for your loan today at +264 8195922222 or email at nedbank.com.na. In partnership with Megatech. Nedbank. See money differently.